Salutations everyone, today we're going to be talking about my analysis on GOML Melee side of things. Easily the weirdest tournament of the year thus far, and probably going to be the weirdest tournament of the year when everything is said and done. A lot of really weird things went into this tournament when you look back on exactly what happened. Okay, so first off, you have Leffen beating all four gods in attendance consecutively. Never been done before. Of course, he's the only one to beat all of the gods. That is why he has the moniker of Godslayer, but he's back. And we had a tournament where Mango didn't just play Fox and Falco. We also saw a Marth and a Captain Falcon. We saw Mango play four characters. We saw Armada not just not being in top 2, not being in top 4. Armada finished in 5th. And Mewtwo King finished in 9th. He didn't practice Melee in this tournament. He was focused on beating Zero in Smash 4, and he did. Never practiced Melee. Finishes 9th. Loses to a Captain Falcon for the first time in 10 years. Canada's own Nun beating him with the Captain Falcon doing crazy shit. So it was an absolute bonkers tournament there in Canada. Leffen taking the gold, Mango in 2nd, Hungrybox in 3rd, who was sick, by the way. A little bit of other craziness. Lucky finishing 4th, knowing that he's fully invested into playing Melee full time. It was great to see him get a solid 4th place finish. Armada in 5th, tied with Westballs, who beat Mango, sent him to losers. Shroomed in 7th. If we learned anything from Summit 2, it's like we don't know what Shroom's gonna do. Throw all of his past history out the window. This guy could do anything at any moment's notice. And then you have EMG's Nun in 7th, pulling out not just the Captain Falcon, but the Ganondorf. He beat Hugs 3-2 with the Captain Falcon Ganondorf, and the Ganondorf's what won it for him. That was insane. Wizrobe, the Moon, and Mewtwo King and Ice all tied with 9th. So let's take a look at Leffen, the guy that everybody wanted to get to a tournament. Free Leffen. Well, this one's in Canada, so he was able to go there. And he starts off by 3-0ing the Moon. And then his closest, or I could say second closest match of the tournament, 3-2 versus Mewtwo King. Mewtwo King had the stock disadvantage in Game 5. It looked like he had the momentum, chose some options that Leffen wasn't able to get hit with, and he was able to close them out right there. Final stock, Game 5. Very close set. Then he 3-1s Armada, which didn't seem close really at all. I don't know if Armada, like Leffen got in his head or something, because he started with the Fox Ditto. He didn't start off with Peach, which we know historically his Peach just 3-0s Leffen. But he did pull out the Peach after 2 losses with the Fox and beat him on FD, even after dropping some chain grabs and then losing in Game 5 with Peach on Battlefield in a very close final moment set there. And Leffen's closest match of the tournament was a 3-2 versus Hungrybox. He had him in the first game, and then Hungrybox pulls out a huge 3-1 comeback on Dreamland there in the second game. He was at kill percent the entire time. Hungrybox came back and won that game. It was insane. And then Hungrybox pulls the 2-1 comeback in Game 3 on Pokemon Stadium, and then in Game 5 on Pokemon Stadium, he had a 2-1 stock lead, and then died after a shine on when Hungrybox was edgeguarding Leffen, and that was the end of that story. And then Leffen goes to Grand Finals to face Mango, and 3-1s him relatively handedly. We saw Mango go with the Marth on Final Destination on the Leffen counter pick, and that was really odd to see. We know we saw Mango pull out the Marth on Hacks, and that was a super sloppy game, but I must have practiced it a little bit. I don't know to fight Leffen specifically or not, but there was Mewtwo King chance because of the chain grabs he was doing on Final Destination. He wasn't doing as much wave dashing. He was kind of landing more with aerials, because that's just more of a Mango style. Leffen closed it out very well there. Mango going through the losers route, 3-1 Swedish Delight, and then gets sent to losers by West Balls, 2-3, close set, but West Balls had some crazy combos in store for him, as he usually does when he does beat him, which is, that seems like a 50-50 matchup at this point. And then Mango goes to losers, 3-0's Wizrobe, 3-1 Shroomed, 3-1's Armada in not a very close game again. I don't know if Armada was, tilted at any point in this tournament or how he was feeling. We know that he left EGLX due to, being sick or whatever. I don't know if there was anything working there, but it didn't seem like Armada was really in control at any juncture during the matches that he lost to either Leffen or Mango. And then after beating Armada, Mango 3-1's Lucky. Solid match. Mango just has that matchup against Lucky. And we know that we've seen a little bit more Falco as of late from Mango, but we saw much more of it here, and we also saw him throw out the Captain Falcon. He got crushed, and then he went with the Marth against Leffen, and that didn't turn out particularly well, but he definitely had some success, was able to get some sweet tippers, and a really, really sweet first stock to open things up. And then Mango 3-1's Hungrybox, and then loses to Leffen in Grand Finals. Hungrybox is run, starts with a 3-1 on Mike Hayes, 3-1 on Shroomed. Shroomed definitely showed some promise within that match. Historically, definitely, Sheik doesn't have a good matchup. Sheik players don't have great matchups against Hungrybox. So that was curious. But then he 3-1s West Balls, as he typically does. Those are usually 3-1s, but very even-handed butt whoopings there on the Hungrybox side of things historically. And then he loses that super close game to set to Leffen, 2-3. Definitely could have gone either way. Leffen could have lost to Hungrybox in a couple of situations. I don't know if things would have been different, if Mewtwo King would have had practice at all on Melee and not concentrate on Smash 4. Because not only does he, he lost to Leffen, but then he loses to None later on. And then Hungrybox goes sent to losers and loses 1-3 to Mango, where Mango, his shines were on point. He was able to, DI out of those up throws a little bit better than Leffen was previously in that matchup. And then in fourth place, we have Lucky, who had quite the showing. He was sent to losers and was able to 3-2 None, so he was the one who ended the Hometown Heroes run. Nun's match against Mewtwo King just blew the lid off the entire building. And you thought like the crowd was going wild when he beat Hugs with Ganondorf, because it's crazy to see a Ganondorf do anything against a top player. And so things just got crazier and crazier, and he was throwing out some tech against Lucky. It seemed like, things weren't going to go his way, but he was able to pull off some crazy combos with the Captain Falcons, things that we haven't seen from Wizrobe or S2J recently. Crazy combo finishers, like up special as a combo finisher, and his dares were on point, those down throws into knees. He was doing things that we haven't seen Captain Falcons do in a long time, and when it comes to 10 years, we haven't seen a Captain Falcon beat Mewtwo King, and None was able to do that. But then Lucky 3-0's West Balls, and then he gets 3-0'd by Armada and 3-1'd by Mango. None, the story of the tournament in many people's eyes, even though Leffen was able to take out 4 gods, None was the hometown hero. He pulls out a Ganondorf and beats Hugs 3-2, and then he's the first Captain Falcon to beat Mewtwo King in a decade, 3-1, throwing out some crazy tech, and then he has a late surge, but loses there to Lucky. So like I said, crazy tournament. Mango, 4 characters, Mewtwo King losing to a Captain Falcon, Leffen beating Armada and Mango and Mewtwo King and Hungrybox, Armada not even getting top 2, not top 3, or even top 4. So crazy stuff that just adds to the historic script that Melee is running right now. It's a crazy soap opera. You never know what's going to happen, and this is just going to add further drama to other tournaments going forth. Obviously, Hungrybox wasn't at his healthiest. Mewtwo King didn't practice Melee, focusing on Smash 4, even with those people that he did have in attendance to fight with Melee, and quite often there was just minutes between him playing Smash 4 and Melee, and that's ridiculously difficult to do. He's the only guy that can do it, and the only guy that does do it. But our Armada having his worst showing of the year. Leffen coming back and, having a much better performance that he did than an EGLX, and was able to take everybody out in Canada.